persist, because what I'm left with is my dignity and it's my voice. And while no member states have done what I think should be done, getting together, standing together and standing up against the United States and tell enough, this is a violation, this is the first UN person who's been sanctioned in 80 years of UN life, and it cannot constitute a precedent. It's illegal, it's against the UN Charter, it's against the Convention on Privileges and Immunities. And so, please, you have to withdraw the sanctions. No member state has done it. It doesn't speak to, I mean, my courage. It speaks to the broad cowardice that exists in the international community, and I cannot be held accountable for that. But, there is a but. I will not be silent till I will have breath in my lungs. I will continue to advocate for justice, not as a lawyer, not as the special rapporteur for the occupied Palestinian territory, but as a mother who doesn't want that the brutality that has been unleashed day in and day out with the complacency and the complicity of so many governments, especially from the part of the world I come from, will become the rule. I cannot accept as a mother that this is normalized, and this is why I keep on saying we still have time. What we are using is not something we have inherited from our ancestors. It's something that we are borrowing, and let me be very honest, we are stealing from our children, and this is why I think let's take it as an opportunity to change.
Thank you very much, Francesca. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, just looking and reflecting on what we just heard, and speaking as an African leader who has seen for years the way the current world order, the Western-dominated rules-based order, uses our global institutions, our legal mechanisms as tools against the powerless. The Security Council of the United Nations to this day doesn't have a single African permanent member. How important is it to change this reality? The ICC, we know, has operated for years with a focus on African leaders. How do you view the current system, and what needs to happen? Can we carry on with this same system, or do we need some kind of overhaul, not to say revolution?
Well, the international or the global system of justice has been shown the weaknesses and the cracks it has already developed and working. The problem of the international law is that there is no watchman that you can call at any time that there is a violation. Proper implementation and enforcement is where we are losing. When the international crimes become intertwined with the interest of some other nations that are bigger in voice, bigger in power and in position, and they don't want to implement the international law, international law is there to protect the weak at the global level. Nations that have no bigger voice, nations that have no military capability to defend their interests, all these were the establishment, but unfortunately, it's not working that way, as you said. What has happened in Gaza was really a very good demonstration for the weakness of the international law that has happened.
So what needs to happen to change this? Because we are now seeing the emergence of smaller actors in the developing world, especially the global south, like South Africa and others, take on the big powers.
There is always a voice, and it's growing, that many of the international systems that were established or founded after the Second World War is not functioning or is not functioning properly. So review of all, including the major institutions like the United Nations, is now under discussion. The voice is there, but still there are obstacles on the way to do the necessary review for that. Somalia, being a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council right now, we are advocating for that purpose, and I believe that it's getting momentum. It's a matter of time before that happens. That is the international or the global order or system. If I go back to the countries, there are so many challenges in Somalia and countries like Somalia, post-conflict, fragile countries. This is the story. But there are also opportunities in it to review the whole systems in place. So said earlier and said my colleagues as well, trust. However, the system is beautiful and good. If the people that this system serves does not believe it, does not have the trust on it, it doesn't work and it cannot work. So one of the main reasons is how can we make our people trust the system? As I said earlier, one of the things is that they need to feel ownership of the system. They should not see the system as imposed by higher authorities or by foreigners or by other interests. They need to feel that this is theirs, their contribution, their ideas, their worries, their wishes are there in it is very important. The second aspect is how can we make trust is earned. You cannot impose trust or you cannot push trust. It's earned. You have to earn the trust. The system of justice has to earn the trust. And in order to earn, structurally, it has to be built. How far the system is independent from political interference. How far the system is structured and the people running the system are credible people. These are some of the important issues. How far the system advocates for equal distribution of resources and opportunities in that particular country. When these measures are there and when these measures are sold to the people, that it's true, then only so in Somalia now we're establishing structures that are independent from the politics, like independent judicial service commission that's independent from the other administration. We are serving also structures like Human Rights Commission, anti-money laundering status, anti-corruption. So these structures are voices, or structures where the people can go without going to the minister or to the parliamentarian or to directly someone who is free from all these influences. That's also the structural system of the justice system.
Of course, and they require not just people's participation, but transparency as well from the government. But talking about one fragile state and moving on to another, Yemen, again, Vice President Bawazir, not just looking at the structural changes that you need to do internally, but looking at the global system. Yemen being a very interesting case in point, a war that has gone on so many years with the Security Council standing by, violations happening probably on a daily basis. It's far away from the news. It's dropped off the radars. What needs to happen? How important is it for you that something fundamental changes in the international global system?
شكرا جزيلا. دعيني ابتداء أن أحيي السيدة فرانسيسكو على الموقف هذا